Welcome to Desktop Central Training Program. Before I start, I want to ensure everyone can hear my voice and view the presentation. Please confirm the same by commenting on the chat window. Right, thank you for the confirmation. Here is our training schedule. This Desktop Central Training Program consists of a 7-week training session. We are at week 2. We are going to discuss about software deployment module. And we have upcoming training videos on different modules, as you could see here. If you want to download the training videos of previous sessions, you can refer the below URL where you can download all the training videos. Let me introduce myself. I'm Saran Raj Kumar. I have got 6 years industry experience and I've been associated with Management for about 6 years. I do implementation and training for Desktop Central product. At week 2, we all gathered to discuss about software deployment module. Let's have a quick look at our agenda for this training session. We'll have a quick architectural overview of software deployment module. And then I have taken 3 different use cases based on problem solution approach to explain the software deployment module in a better way. The first one is I'm going to talk about how to deploy freeware applications using desktops in the product. In this use case, I have taken an example of Chrome application. The second use case is how to customize the packages for commercial-based applications and distribute it to a specific group of machines. In this second scenario, I have taken an example of MS Office 2016 package. The third one would be so much interesting for you, how to make the end users to go about one-click software installation. In this use case, I will talk about self-service portal of desktops and the product to initiate the software deployment from the end user's side. And also, I'm going to talk about a few other use cases which are widely used, which are widely experienced by IT administrators, and how to solve them using Desktop Central product. At the end of the session, I will talk about a few questions which are requested, which are asked in terms of a software deployment module in a frequent scenarios. And however, if you have any specific questions to be answered, do not wait for the end of the session. Please raise it immediately. We have expert panel who can answer your questions immediately. So what are the operating systems supported by our product? Under software deployment module, you can create packages for Windows operating system and Mac operating system and deploy to the computers. Our Desktop Central product maintains a database with more than 1,000 predefined applications. These applications are commercial and freeware applications specific to Windows and Mac operating system. These applications are added with predefined silent switches and parameters and download URLs. So this template is going to help the end users, I mean the administrators, to create packages without much efforts and distribute them using Desktop Central product. I'm going to talk about the template section in our first use case. We'll see in detail. All right, let's have a quick look at our Desktop Central product architecture. So Desktop Central supports client-server-based model, which means we have a Desktop Central server component sitting on one of your server machine, an agent component on all the client machines you want to manage. The product supports managing machines across a local area network and a wide area network. If you have remote offices, you can manage the machines which are sitting in the remote locations. As well, you can manage roaming user computers. The machines, the users work from home, travel from one location to other location. Basically, these machines will connect to your desktop central server either via a VPN or a NATing, network address translation. You will have to open a few ports in your firewall for all these roaming user machines to connect to your network via public IP address. The Desktop Central product uses various ports. All these ports are based on features. The product supports communication over HTTP and HTTPS, normal and secure over the TCP protocol. As you can see here, Desktop Central runs on 8020 port, which is used by all the agents to talk to the Desktop Central server at a regular interval. Likewise, for other features, you can see the ports given in our table. Every agent will communicate the server once in 90 minutes. It is called as agent refresh interval. So why we have 90 minutes? The server has the intelligence to delegate the communication interval to all the managed computers in a systematic and streamlined interval. This ensures two important factors. The first one is, at any given time, the agent-server communication does not choke your network bandwidth. The second one is the server's performance. If you make all the machines to communicate the server at the same time, it will increase the CPU utilization on the server side. It will downgrade the server's performance. So at any given time, the network bandwidth should not be choked and the server's performance should not be downgraded. These are the two important factors which is made sure by 90 minutes agent refresh interval. How it works, for example, if you manage 90 computers, only one machine will communicate the server per minute. If you manage 900 computers, only 10 machines per minute will reach the server. If you manage 9,000 computers, only 100 machines per minute will reach the server. This is something taken care by the Desktop Central server product. How software deployment works. So we have come to the software deployment work model. The process starts with configuring software repository. It could be a local network share or HTTP share. The local network share is created by the administrators. It's a location where you dump all the exe files, all the MSI files. An HTTP share resides on the server machine. Whatever packages you create from the templates will be stored under the HTTP share. The second step involves adding the package in Desktop Central product. So I will discuss about how to add the package in our later section, but once we added the package, the agent will get the task information from Desktop Central server about the particular software deployment, software package. So the client machine will connect to the network share, download the installable, and start the installation process. This is how it works in terms of local office. In case of remote site, we have distribution server, which is going to act as a replication point for all the packages that you have in the HTTP share. This is to ensure the network bandwidth is not consumed much specifically during software deployment. The distribution server replicates all the packages and locally keep them for the remote site machines to connect to the distribution server locally and download the package. After the installation of the package, both LAN and WAN machines directly post the status to the Desktop Central server, so we can weave the status in our Desktop Central product UI user interface. We have discussed about network share and HTTP share. So what is the difference between these two shares? Where I can use network share, where I can use HTTP share. So that network share is locally created. It suits for LAN environment. But in terms of WAN machines, accessing the network share over the internet It is something possible, but it requires network level changes. It will be a costliest operation in the network. So I would recommend you to use HTTP share for the WAN machines. Since it's locally created, you can have multiple files and folders in a specific order, but arranging files would be pretty difficult with HTTP share, so I would recommend you to add less than 5 files. Size always matters when you want to transfer file or folder from one location to other location. In terms of local share, all the machines are going to connect to the local share in the local environment through the local network connectivity, so you can have the file size with anything. But HTTP share, it involves bandwidth. The WAN machines have to connect to the HTTP share to download the package. So it is highly recommended to add up to 5 GB. The network share is locally created by the administrator, and whenever a new package, new application comes in picture, it downloads a package and put it on the network share and regularly maintains the share access and network connectivity. But HTTP share resides on the server machine. The product takes care of the HTTP share on its own. Now let's jump on to our first scenario, deploying Chrome browser to all network computers. I'm John. Let's impersonate as John. I'm a technician working in my company. I've been requested to install Chrome application to all the network computers. So before I talk about how I can achieve this using Desktop Central, let me generally talk about how I will go about deploying this package. I will download the required binary, which is nothing but Chrome MSI installer file. So I will connect to Chrome website, download the MSI, and then I want this application to be silently installed on the client machines. So I will be searching for the silent switches, which is my second task. And then I will create a package in Desktop Central and deploy that to the target machines. The process looks pretty simple, but the time taken for fetching all these information is really something huge. I don't want to spend my time just searching for the download binaries, searching for the silent switches. This is where Desktop Central product comes in place. The Desktop Central product has its own database with more than 1,000 applications, including Chrome. These applications are added with proper download URLs, silent installed switches and parameters, so I can create a package from a template and distribute it to the client computers easily. Let me demonstrate how I can achieve this requirement in our Desktop Central product. So I'm going to take you to Desktop Central console, which is installed in my test environment. So I'm going to log in as John. I'm signing into the product console. Now, I click on the Software Deployment tab at the top of the console. And in the left panel, under Package Creation, I have Templates. When I click on Templates, I have various applications. As you can see, the total count is 1138 as of now. This is regularly updated. When a new package, when a new version comes in, our team is going to add it automatically in this repository. So I'm going to search for Chrome browser. So I type Chrome, and I get different versions of Chrome application. As you could see here, this is a package for Mac operating system, and this is a package for Windows, and I have a 64-bit version and 32-bit version, and I also see download size. Now, I select this package, and I click on Create Package. The product will connect to the respective vendor's website. So where it gets the details from. If you click on the package, here is the location. This is what we add to each package, that you find in our template. So this is the download URL. So our product is going to connect to this URL, download the MSI, and put it in the network, HTTP share. So I have already created the 64-bit version of the product. I'm going to search for that one. Click on the packages in the left panel, and I'm going to search for the particular application. So I have got the different versions. Now, I want to install the latest version of Chrome, 64-bit, and I'm going to select Install Uninstall Software dropdown. I have two different options here. One is Windows, another one is Mac. So I will deploy Mac package to Mac computers, Windows package to Windows machines. Under Windows, I have two more options. One is the user-based configuration and computer-based configuration. Let's assume that I want to install some applications under user profile, maybe Skype or Dropbox or some Outlook plugins. Those applications should be installed on the user profile. So I will make use of user-based configuration. But in this case, my requirement is to install Chrome browser to all the network machines. I will choose computer configuration. All right, so I have got the task details here. I have to provide some specific name so that when I want to look at in the future, I will be able to recognize the task information. So I will say Chrome deployment to all network machines. Then I'll just go down further. I have two options, installer type. This application is an MSI package, so the installer type is automatically chosen, and the package name. And under operation type, I have three different options. So install completely, it's going to install the application. And if I want to remove this package in future, I will make use of remove option. In the middle, advertise. If I want to just publish this package to all the computers and I want an end user to go ahead and install it from the control panel, I will make use of advertise option. All right, so I have configure, install, uninstall options. By default, when you distribute packages to the client machines, our desktop central agent is going to run the installation using Windows system user credential. So you don't have to worry about the privilege for installing software packages. However, in some cases, you may want to use some specific admin credentials to install the packages. In that case, you can make use of run as user. You can provide the admin credentials, username and password, and proceed with the deployment. And scrolling down further, I have scheduler settings, install after. Let me explain a scenario for this install after section. I want to create a task immediately, but it should be processed after a week time on the client machines. So I can make use of this date option to specify the date when it should be processed and the time after it should be processing the task on the client side. So after 11 o'clock, when the agent communicates the server as per the 90 minutes refresh interval, it is going to get the task processed on the client side. And I also have do not apply this configuration after the time specified below. Where I can use this. Let's assume that I'm installing the latest version of Chrome browser to all the network machines. After a month's time, a new version of Chrome comes in. So I don't want to use this older version anymore. So I can expire this configuration after a month time. So I will specify here the expiration date, maybe March 28. So after March 28, this task will not be applied to any of the client computers. And then I have deployment policy. This is something important. Let me create a policy so that I can explain what are the important settings you can configure through this. So when I click on create policy, I get various options here. So I will provide the policy name. I will call it as Chrome deployment. And here, initiate the deployment at system startup or refresh cycle. So what is system startup? So there are certain applications. For an example, you can take Java. If you want to install Java application, there should not be any instance running in the backend. Actually, you're not running any instances with your knowledge, but when you open the browsers, maybe Chrome or Firefox, they use Java plugin in the backend. So without your knowledge, you open the browser, when you install the application, it is going to fail as per the behavior. So you may want to deploy the packages, certain packages, during the machine boot up process. So I will choose system startup in that case. And refresh interval, which is 90 minutes interval, whichever happens earlier, I can go with this option. And preferred week for the deployment. In some organizations, the end users, the technicians are allowed to deploy packages only on a specific week. So I will choose the particular week. For instance, in my company, I have to deploy packages only at the 3rd week of the month. So I will choose 3rd week. And preferred days for the deployment. So I always want to deploy the packages during the weekdays. So I will skip Saturday and Sunday. So it should be deployed any day during the weekdays. Now, deployment window. This is something important. So I want to deploy this package during after hours, which means I want to start the deployment after 6 o'clock in the evening, so that I will not disturb end users when they are doing some work at office time. I will set the deployment window around 6 o'clock at evening till 12 in the midnight. So the package will be deployed on the client side only within this time window. Now, since I have chosen the deployment window to be after hours, I may expect some machines to be turned off. Some machines are down. So I want to wake them up before I initiate the deployment on those computers. I will make use of turn on computers before deployment feature. So this is something we have as a unique feature, wake online capability. So you can make use of that using our software deployment template. And you have download patches software during subsequent refresh cycle. For example, I have set the deployment window to be very short, maybe just 1 hour. I want the package to be installed within that 1 hour of time window. So in that case, I will enable this checkbox so that the agent machine will connect to the desktop central network share, downloads the package, and keep it ready for the deployment. As soon as the agent time reaches 18 hours, it is going to just start the installation so that you can avoid time taken for the download of the package within the deployment time window which you set up here. And notification about the deployment. As per my company's IT policy, I should notify the end users about the deployment I'm going to process on the client machines. So I will message the end users with this information. They get a prompt, and the timeout minutes, I can set it up here. And I have reboot policy, right? So some applications require a reboot. So I will ensure after the applications are installed, I will go ahead and do a force reboot because I'm doing the deployment during after hours. So it's not something everyone will be near the computers working on the machines. So I can go ahead and force it. Maybe in some cases I want to make use of this postpone reboot. So if somebody is working on their machines, they get a prompt with this message and they can go ahead and postpone the reboot. If they have been postponing the reboot continuously, I can restrict after the X number of days. So I can force the reboot after the mentioned number of days. I have shut down in the same manner and do not reboot or shut down. So this is a customization I want to make for this deployment to be processed. So I have made sure everything is set up properly, and I'm going to click on Save. It is going to create a deployment policy. So I will go back to the console, the task creation page, and from here I will choose the one that I have created. So I will have all the custom settings included into this Chrome deployment template, and the deployment will be processed based on this configuration. Now, the important section is to define the target. So in this case, my requirement to install the application to all the network machines, so I will choose the entire domain as target. Also, I have different options. I mean, I can choose specific remote offices as a target. Let me tell you an example. As soon as I have chosen the domain name, I have got some kind of notification, a kind of warning in red, which says that I have chosen the entire domain, which is going to replicate the packages to all the distribution servers. Let's assume that I want to install Chrome only to 2 remote offices that I manage. I don't want the package to be replicated by all the distribution servers, which is going to be an unnecessary consumption of bandwidth. So in that case, instead of choosing the domain, I can go ahead and select the remote office directly. So only the remote office machines, I mean the distribution servers belonging to this remote office, will get the packages replicated, not the entire domain. Actually, my requirement in this scenario is to deploy application to all the network machines. I will choose the domain. Actually, I can filter furthermore. For instance, when I click on this customization symbol, I have filter computers based on organizational units, AD groups, or individual machines, custom groups, dynamic custom groups, an IP range, IP address, and even operating system. Sometimes I can also exclude. For instance, I have selected the entire domain, but I want to exclude specific computer from getting this package. I can go ahead and select the particular machine. Now, execution settings. In some cases, I may want to retry the deployment on failed machines. Let's take an example of the same Java package. If you install Java package when the instance is running in the backend, it is going to fail. So you may want to try it during the system boot up process. In that case, it will be successfully installed during the system boot up. I want to enable this checkbox to retry the deployment on the failed targets one more time to get 100% success. So I want to increase the success rate of this configuration by using these 2 options. Now, enabling the notification. So after the deployment is applied to the client machines, I mean the task is applied to the client machines, the task will be processed by each computer that you manage. Once the first machine picks up the task, the status will be moved to in progress. So whenever there is a change in the status, you want to get some kind of alert from the product, right? So you can enable this checkbox and send you a notification for every 4 hours for the X number of days. You can actually change it if you want. And you can provide the email address to which the notification to be sent out. And I have 2 options here, deploy and deploy immediately. When I press deploy, the agent will get the task information during the 90 minutes refresh interval. But when I press deploy immediately, it is going to be processed the next moment to all the client machines. However, we have one particular restriction. Even though you press deploy immediately, it's not going to be processed on all the client machines immediately, only to the first 50 computers. The remaining machines will get the task information during the subsequent refresh cycle. So why we have this restriction? It is to ensure the server's performance is not affected at any given time, and the network share that you have created is not downgraded in terms of performance when all the machines connect to the network share at the same time. All right, so let's assume that I have deployed this task. As soon as the task is deployed, all the agents will get the task during the 90 minutes refresh interval, and it's going to start processing a task and install the application and send the status back to the desktop central server. I can weave the current status of this configuration under Weave Configurations in the left panel. So when I click on the Weave Configurations, I will see all the tasks that I've created. The one which I've created is Google Chrome All Network. So I click on the task name. I will be able to see the task along with the execution status summary. So it says that 10 machines succeeded with the task deployment and 1 machine failed. If I want to click on the 10 machines, see the detail, I can click on the execution status, so I see the 10 machines. And if I want to see the failed machine, I click on the failed number. It's going to take me to the error message, the machine name, the error message, why it failed. It's a fatal error during the installation. So based on the error, I can go for the troubleshooting. And I also have it to apply status for 1 machine, which means the machine did not pick the task yet. So if I click on Weave Detail and Remarks, it shows that the agent hasn't communicated the server to initiate the deployment, which means the server is, the agent is down, or it couldn't reach the server via 8020 port. So this is something I have for the troubleshooting to fix a reported issue. I can go ahead and make use of our agent troubleshooter on the client tray icon and find out what is the exact issue in terms of communication between the agent and server and proceed the troubleshooting. So actually the template made my job so easier. I have created a package for Chrome and distributed to all the network machines without much effort. All right, so let me take you to the slides again. Let's jump on to our next use case. So in this use case, I'm going to talk about how to customize commercial-based application and add a package in our product. Let's take an example of MS Office 2016. I have to create a package for this application and distribute it to the finance department computers. All right, as we did before, let's get into the desktop central console. Click on the software deployment, and in the left panel, I search for templates and the application MS Office 2016. So when I search for Office 2016, I get Microsoft Office as a package, and here I see type to be manual and action learn more. Instead of create package, I see learn more. If I click on learn more, it is taking me to the page where I can see the how to deploy document for Microsoft Office 2016. Yes, we can't add all the packages under this template. The reason is some applications, specifically commercial-based applications, require license keys for the deployment, for the proper activation of the software. Likewise, you may want to install only specific components of the application. So it requires manual customization. So we have added the help document for these kind of packages as much as we can. So as you can see here, this is a document that you have to follow. Download the Office 2016 and put it on a local network share. Excuse me. And follow this instruction. Create a config.xml file with the license key information and add the package. So I have downloaded Office 2016 application, put it on my network share. But the network share should be configured in our desktop central product. That is my first step. I go to this software repository in the left panel under software deployment module. When I click on software repository, I see network share. So I have to specifically configure the shared location where I have keep all the applications that I want to install to the client machines. It could be an EXE, MSI, it could be a commercial application or a freeware application. Whatever package that I download will keep this, will keep them in this network share. And one thing we have to notice is the permission to this network share. Our product requires read and execute permission to every one users group for this network share. In some organization, it is a security thread. So you can make use of this checkbox, which is going to allow you to access the share with some specific admin credentials. You can provide your admin credentials. You don't have to give everyone read and execute permission. Instead, you provide the specific admin credentials that has access to that share. Okay, so we have configured network share. On the same page, I also see HTTP share. This is something whenever you create package from our templates, this is the location the packages will be stored. By default, it will be stored inside your desktop central server installed machine. If you want to change this to something else, you can go ahead and put the location path here. All right, so I have configured software repository. Now I have to add the package into our desktop center product. I go to the package creation section and packages. Under add package, in the drop down I'll choose Windows, and then I have package type. This application is an EXE based package, so I'm going to choose EXE here. And package name, MS Office 2016. And then further down, I have license type. So I have to choose the proper license type, which is a mandatory option. This is going to help me out when I want to categorize applications based on the license information, whether it is a commercial or non-commercial, which in turn is going to help me out distributing all the commercial applications through self-service portal, which we are going to cover in our next scenario. So I can distribute all the commercial-based application instead of going by, going to one by one for all these commercial-based softwares. So I will explain that in detail. So I choose commercial as license type and the path type, whether it is a network path or HTTP path. So network path, you browse the specific location where you have Office folder. Let's assume that this is the location you have Office 2016. This is a root folder. And inside this folder, you have setup.exe. So this is a UNC path for this setup.exe. But if you notice here, it describes how to deploy, how to customize Office package. It requires creating a config.xml file with all these information and choose this specific path for including this config.xml, like /configure and the location of the config.xml file. So let's assume that I kept the config.xml file within the same Office folder. I will ensure I follow the instruction and put the path here, config.xml. So this is the complete UNC path with proper installation arguments, with proper silent switches for this package. If I want to test this package, whether I have created a custom.msp file or config.xml file, which is a legitimate one, I will copy this. I will run it from run command window to ensure this is installed successfully on the client machine. Once I ensure that this is going to work, I will make use of the UNC path in our product. This is one of the troubleshooting that you can follow when you get the failures after the deployment is completed on the client machines. Here you have two different options, pre-deployment activities and post-deployment activities. If I click on Add, in the drop-down, I can set some condition. Based on this condition, I can either proceed with the installation or about the installation. Let's assume that I want to install Autodesk application. Normally, Autodesk requires .NET as a base application. Without .NET, you can't install Autodesk on the client computers. So in that case, I can check for a software version, specific software name equals specific version, and if it is satisfied, proceed with the installation. If it is not satisfied, skip the installation. So I can set some criteria. Likewise, I can search for certain registry key and value, check the data on registry value, and I can search for a specific file and folder, and I can also check for the running processes. And I know some applications, if you're running any process in the back end, you can't install the application. It will fail. So you may want to kill that process and then proceed with the installation. And you have check free disk space. This might be useful in this Office deployment. The reason is Office is a huge application, around 2 GB. So before I install the package, I want to ensure I have enough space on the end user machine. I will choose and enter. Minimum space should be 2 GB on the client machine. If this condition is satisfied, I'm going to proceed with the installation of the package. I also have post-deployment activities. As a post-deployment activity, after the successful deployment, I can run certain tasks, running a custom script. For example, I have installed an application that creates lots of temp files under the temp directory. I want to clean them up by running a custom script. So I can write the script and include it here. So after the successful deployment of the package, the script will be run on the client machine. It will clean up the temp directory. And then I have advanced options. So advanced options, exit code. Each application returns an exit code as 0 after the successful deployment. This might be something different for some applications in a rare scenario. In case the application, the exit code is different, even though it is installed successfully by our agent, it will return an exit code with failure status to all the client machine, to the server. So you may want to change the exit code according to the particular application. So you will specify it here. And then architecture, whether it is a 32-bit application or 64-bit application, and maximum time limit for installation. Let's assume that you're installing AutoCAD. It is a big application, around 20 GB file. It has more than 20 inner softwares, different suites. So when you want to install those kind of big applications, you may want to exceed the installation time. By default, we give 2 hours for the installation. If you want, you can increase it up to 6 hours. And package properties, I can choose the vendor, version, language, and I can add some description about this package. So I have added the package information, and I click on Add Package. This is going to add the details to our desktop central software deployment packages list. Let's assume that I have added the package. I'm going back to the packages list in the left panel, and I'm going to search for Office 2016 application. So I get different packages. So I'm going to select the one that I want to install, and in the drop-down, I choose Computer Configuration. So we have already discussed all these predefined options. I can provide name as Office 2016 to Finance Department Computers. And we have discussed all these options earlier: operation type and install after expiration and deployment policy. So I have created specifically for Office deployment. I will choose this one here. And the target definition. So as you can notice here, our requirement to install the package to finance department machines. So I have created a department group. It's called as a custom group in our product. You can create various groups. So I have created one. I'm going to choose that here as a target. So finance department. So this has all the finance department machines. I can go ahead and make use of the retry option to increase the success rate, and I want a notification as well, and I click on deploy. Since it's a huge application, I don't want my network to be choked, so I will go with deploy. It will give enough time for the agent machines to come back to the server to pick the task one by one in a regular interval. So let's assume that the task is deployed. As we have discussed, I can go to View Configurations to see the current status of the task that I've deployed, MS Office 2016, Finance Department Machines. I click on the task name to see the current summary of it. Succeeded 2 machines, failed 2 machines, yet to apply 3 machines. You can click on the status to see the specific error why it failed. So it says access is denied, which means the client machine does not have the access to the local share to download the package. So I will just go ahead and troubleshoot it further by providing proper access to every one group in this case. So I have successfully deployed Office 2016 application to one particular department. As an administrator, I have another important task: to manage the license for Office 2016. Because every year Microsoft comes for audit, so when they come for audit, I have to be 100% compliant in terms of license tracking for commercial-based applications, specifically Office 2016. So this is something I can make use of license management capability of desktops in a product, which is going to be covered in detail in our upcoming training session, which is asset management training on March 1st. And going back to our software deployment scenarios, here is the process that we have followed. We have customized Office 2016 package and added the package to our repository, created the package in our product, and deployed it to the required computers. Okay, so let's jump on to our third scenario. I'm receiving lots of help desk tickets to install various business applications for different departments. How can I save time fulfilling this request? This has been a major requirement for lots of administrators. Every organization has its own common business applications. Everyone in the organization needs a specific package. Everyone needs it. So everyone sends out the request to the help desk team that I want this package. It is an overwhelming request from the end user side. So I want some kind of mechanism to distribute all these packages to all the machines globally. So whenever they want, they just go and click one time and install the package, which is going to reduce my work. So we have a feature called self-service portal, which is going to help the administrators to publish software packages to all the network machines or a group of machines. So the end users can go ahead and launch the self-service portal and install these applications from their end. You don't have to create a task every time for the request that you receive from the end users. So let me explain how this can be achieved in our product. So going back to the desktop central console, software deployment, I have self-service portal here. When I click on that, I see publish software packages, and in the drop-down I have computer and user. I mean, I can deploy the packages to computer's profile or user profile. So when I want to deploy packages to user profile, you have to ensure the required user, the end user, has enough privilege to install the package. When I do it for computers, it's going to run as system user, so you don't have to worry about the privileges. So I have already done one for you. I will edit it to show you. So I have selected all group machines. I have moved certain applications here. These are commercial business applications, like CCleaner, Chrome, Google Talk, and Java 7, Firefox. So these applications are needed on all the client machines. So I just go ahead and move it to the right-hand side, and I click on Publish. So once it is published, the end user can launch the self-service portal and see all these applications which are published to them. They can start installing them. Let me show you how they can launch it from the agent tray icon. If they right-click the agent tray icon, they will see all these options, including self-service portal. When they launch the self-service portal, this is how they see the end user view. It will show all these applications with install option. The end user click on install, the package will be successfully installed on the client machine. So this reduces my involvement in creating tasks every time for these packages. I can take this to the next level. We do have a product called Service Desk Plus, which is a help desk management tool, which is tightly integrated with Desktop Center product. This integration is going to help you out in deploying these applications based on the approval. Let's assume a scenario. I have pushed out all the freeware applications to everyone. What if it's a commercial application? I want to install Microsoft Office 2016 only to specific department computers. When I want to send out to everyone, it will be displayed in their self-service portal, but they can't install it. Instead, they will have to request me. Instead of install here, they will see request option for those applications. They click on request, it will send the request to Service Desk Plus product as part of the integration. As a technician in Service Desk Plus product, I will go ahead and deny or approve it. If I think the sales user don't need Office 2016 and they request it, I will just go ahead and deny it. This way I can manage my license effectively. So let me explain that in our product, how you can achieve it. If I go to software deployment section, same way, self-service portal, left panel, and publish software packages, I create a one. I have already one which is published. Let me modify it. So what I will do is I will select the package and move it at the bottom of this section, requires approval prior to installation. This means this MS Office 2016 will be published to all the finance department computers. However, they will have to request me if they need this application. I will decide whether they need the application or not. Then I will go ahead and approve it from Service Desk Plus product. This is something you can make use only if you have Desktop Central and Service Desk Plus product integrated. So let me give you an insight on how this can be weaved on the end user side. I have slides for you. As you can see here, instead of install, they will see request for certain applications. When they click on request, it will ask for a specific reason, because they will have to add some reason for why they need this package. They click on the window and type the message they need to send out to the technician, and click on send request. It will be requested. Now, the request will be reaching Service Desk Plus product. If I go to Service Desk Plus product, I can see that waiting for my approval. Under home page, I logged in as a John. As you can see here, I see the approval request. I can take an action from here. I click on take an action. I can either approve it or reject it. If I approve it, it will be installed on the client machine, and I get the status as installed. In case if it is rejected, I will see it has rejected here. So I can install commercial-based applications based on approval if I integrate Desktop Central with Service Desk Plus product. So this is end user view for self-service portal. And here is the self-service approval workflow. So client computers send the request to Desktop Central product. Desktop Central product will connect to Service Desk Plus through API and send the request. And Service Desk Plus product will approve it or deny it by, basically it's done by the administrators, technicians. And it will send a command to Desktop Central. In turn, Desktop Central searches for the client machine, and using its agent, it is going to install the package. So here's the self-service portal process involved. We created the package in our product, whatever packages we think as required, and create departments groups and associate the softwares to the specific groups department, and then user installs those applications on the end user side. All right, this covers our major use cases. Now let's get into a few other real-time scenarios, how to solve them using Desktop Central product. So scenario one, I want to install Autodesk design software on a free computer, and it requires .NET Framework. How can I achieve this? So I can make use of add more packages option in our product. When I create a software deployment task, I go to software deployment, and in the packages, I search for .NET Framework. So I select it, and when I click on create task, I will have option to add more package. So I can click on add more package. I will search for Autodesk Design Review Tool. So it will install .NET Framework first, and then install Autodesk applications. The point here is I can add multiple applications via single configuration. Can I install software at the user level, such as Dropbox or Skype? Yes, you can. When you create a software deployment task, you have option to create user-based configuration. Using this, I can go ahead and deploy user-based applications under user profile. So here I will choose a target as users, not computers. I have a third-party application that does not support silent installation. How can I install it? If a third-party application does not support silent installation, you can make use of certain options in our product. So when you create a package, when you create a configuration, for example, let me take Chrome. When you create a task, you can make use of this allow user to interact with the installation and uninstallation window. So the end users will be getting a prompt. They can proceed with the installation of the package if the particular application does not support silent installation. Also, we do have different options, like you can create an IFS answer file and record it and play it back. for the successful silent installation, or you can use third-party tools like AutoIT to create install scripts for installing this package silently. Number 4, I have set up applications including MS Office, CRM. I have deployed it to the sales team. When a new machine comes into the sales team, I want to ensure the new machine gets all these packages automatically. I have a certain setting in our product. If I go under configurations, configuration settings, I have an option when a new machine is added to the OU or AD group, custom group, it should automatically get all the tasks previously applied to this group. This ensures even I deploy any number of tasks, when a new machine comes into this group, it should automatically get all the packages that has been deployed earlier. So number 5, I tried to deploy a business app to a computer, but it failed. Is there a way to troubleshoot it myself? Yes, you can. When you create a package in our product under software deployment module, package creation, ensure that you enable this checkbox, enable logging for troubleshooting. This creates a log under agent folder. Let me show you. Under agent logs folder, it creates a specific file with a specific name. You can go ahead and use this for further troubleshooting. All right, here it ends with the real-time use cases. Let's quickly go through some questions which are frequently asked in terms of software deployment functionality. Can you deploy enterprise applications specifically purchased for an organization? Yes, you can. You need proper argument silent switches for the package to be installed. Also, you have to customize a package based on the procedure that is offered by the particular vendor. For example, how we customized Office 2016 package. And you can make use of our product to deploy it to your entire network machines. Self-service portal is not enabled. Do I need Enterprise Edition to use self-service portal? How do I know which edition I'm using? Self-service portal setting, self-service portal feature is available only within the Enterprise Edition at the moment. So if you don't use Enterprise Edition, you can't get that feature. In that case, please upgrade to the Enterprise Edition. If you want to know which edition are you using, you can go to the product console, the right-hand side top, you click on license section where you can see the license type, which edition that you're using at the moment. How does the install after time work in relation to the refresh policy for software installation? As you can notice here, when you create a task for any application, we have install after. If I set this around 10 a.m., which means the task will be processed after 10 a.m. It doesn't mean that exactly at 10 a.m. It means after 10 a.m. when the agent communicates the server during the next 90 minutes refresh interval. Where on the user's PC does it copy the software installable? Does it erase afterwards? Basically, the agent copies a file into the agent folder. After the successful deployment of the package, it will be removed from the end user machine. If I want my software packages to be replicated to a remote office, what is the best way? As of now, the best way is make use of HTTP upload option. This ensures the package is replicated by all the distribution servers. As of now, our distribution server does not have the option to replicate the package from a network share. Hence, I would recommend you to use HTTP share. However, network share replication is actually in our product roadmap. We're going to add it soon. When multiple software are deployed in sequence, if the first package fails, does it attempt to continue? How is notification sent back? If you deploy multiple packages, the first package fails, it is not going to proceed further. However, we have notification settings which will send you a notification whenever there is a change. When you create a configuration that you can enable it. So in case of failure, you get the notification, you can remove that package and redeploy the task. Number 7, what is the best way to research what silent switches work and what are they from vendor to vendor? The silent switches may vary to vendor. It depends on the specific package. However, you can get it from our templates. If you want any of the silent switches, go to our software deployment template section. We maintain a database with all the latest packages, freeware. So we have the silent switches parameters for all these applications. So you can find out if you can search for the specific application. In case if we don't have it, you can request using this get your request added. Likewise, you can also contact the vendor for the silent switches. You can search in Google. At the worst case, you can contact our support team. We will be able to assist you on the same. All right, here it ends with our presentation on software deployment module. So please rate us on a scale of 1 to 5, where 5 is the best. So your rating will encourage us for improving the content of this training, the quality of this training in our upcoming training series. Please spread the word about our training. You can share a training information via Facebook, Google, or LinkedIn. So please use the hashtag Desktop Central, hashtag free training. Our next training schedule, asset management, on March 1st. We have 2 sessions, 6:30 a.m. GMT to cover Europe, Middle East time zone, and 11:30 a.m. EST to cover US, UK, and Canada time zone. Thank you so much for your patience. Really appreciate your time. Have a nice day.